It is June 13th, 2020. We're here on the rooftop of 4221 Middlesex Drive, San Diego, California, 92116. So we've got here on the rooftop a 3-inch cast iron vent. This should lead right into the beginning of the sewer main for the original part of the house. We do have a back bathroom. Looks like I believe it was possibly added on, and we will go from a 3-inch ABS cleanout that's on the side of the house to enter from that point. But we're going to go down this vertical right here. A little bit of debris right there in the line. This is the original cast iron main. I do not believe it was abandoned. Should all still be being used. There's a little bit of water in the line you can see right there. So for the age of the home, you can see that the cast iron is relatively open. We have just a little bit of standing water in the line. You can see on the right and left on the bottom, there's going to be little mounds and little pockets of buildup, scale and deposits in the line. That's what happens with all cast iron, especially, of course, with this particular age. But internally, most of the diameters you can see is all there. Just a little bit in certain little areas, and we'll see if it gets worse or better in certain little distances out. Continue down the line here. So you can see, again, this looks really good right here for the age and it being original piping. We're also looking for, when you're scanning an older cast iron like this, if you're seeing mounds of feces and toilet paper bound up everywhere. If you're not seeing that, then these simple mounds and buildup areas and pockets aren't a real concern, because otherwise everything would be backing and damming up behind there. But as long as everything's moving through there, then it's really not an issue. If it's very severe, we do recommend on occasion hydrojetting, but you have to be careful, because with very old pipe, depending on the PSI that you run, it can cause more scaling, peeling of the line, and literally damage or crack the line. So it can be a delicate balancing act to try to clean up some old cast iron and not do it more harm sometimes. So we can definitely, again, see that there's little pockets of areas with buildup and deposits and scaling here and there. We're not finding any debris throughout, so it's completely functionable and working as it should still. A little heavier pocket right there. But again, no debris anywhere in the system. I believe it is occupied house, we were told by the agent, so it's getting the brunt of everything being put down the line, but nothing's staying in the line. It's all moving down and out. Because this is a 3-inch vent access, they could hydrojet just from the rooftop here as well. Be an access point if they wanted to go ahead and do that. It is always easier from cleanouts at the ground level if those are ever put in, but this can be the source to clean the line if ever needed. A little heavier mound just right there. Again, just little pockets here and there we're seeing across. So we're getting really far across the front yard, and as you can see, we're all the way across it now, basically just in front of the sidewalk. So you can see right here is the transition to the greenbelt PVC. The white is the fittings, the green is the actual pipe itself. So this is the transition and turn. The little turn right there, and that looks like that's a T-junction right there. So as we make this turn, we can kind of see a curve right there on the top of the screen. That's the property line clean out the city installed. I believe they said there's one just in front of the sidewalk itself. So that's this clean out T-junction. It's kind of under the bark right there. And then you go into all the greenbelt PVC pipe itself, plastic running out across the sidewalk, across the frontage, and then into the street. So I believe this was already recorded by the other company that might have been here before us, but we'll push all the way out again. just to see if there's any debris or anything else that is accumulated in the line, but again, nothing. And there's the end of the lateral line there for this property, dropping into the big city pipe there. So from the top of this vent, you can see it's just short of 98 feet running out. So we're now going to go ahead and pull back here. We're going to pull back kind of quick through the plastic. Nothing to really see here in any way, shape, or form. Let's turn. So you can see now we're back to the cast iron. So it's about a 30-foot run from the plastic to the city. And then right here, we're right at about almost 69 feet, and that's where the cast iron is ending. So we're gonna show this. We're gonna pull backwards here. So it's a clean transition into the plastic. There's again just normal deposits and scale and buildup on the line. We have no root intrusions. We have no objects in the line. We don't have any very large sags or bellies of huge pockets or pools of water that would be there if you had a sag or a belly. We just have these little undulations in the line. Now, it's probably not showing up on our monitor, but this camera that we're using, which is a high definition HDR, high dynamic resolution, it's like high definition almost. This also has what's called a tilt meter in here. It actually is showing me on my screen, sometimes it doesn't record it, the angle of declination that the pipe is in. And so basically, pipe is required to fall at a 1/4 inch for every foot it travels, which is about -2 degrees or so. I'm getting anywhere from -6 to -8 on here. So this pipe, and even upwards up to 10 or 12 on occasions, has really good downhill slope on it. So I think that's the other reason why you're basically not seeing any debris catching here, because I still have it at -10 and plus that. So it's a very good sloped pipe. And so even though there's some scale and buildup in the line, it's got very good pitch or fall to it. That's why we're not finding any feces, not even toilet paper residue in here. Obviously no other paper product should be put down here. Even the flushable wipes are not flushable. But that's why there's nothing hanging in this line. If we saw a bunch of debris getting hung up, even food, everything else, then we'd be more inclined to say, on occasion, you may have to one day jet this to help maintain it or to try to clean it. But overall, that stuff in the front yard has very good slope. Now, as we're coming back across here through this area, it's not as heavy as a slope that we see on our reading counter, but it's still good and good enough. And again, that's why you're not seeing it. It's just normal pitch of a 1/4 inch per foot more so. But again, as you can see, most of the pipe is still widely open. Looks really good overall. Just those few little pockets here and there, but really negligible. So, don't recommend anything at this time. We're starting to come back out to the very beginning already of the system where we came in from this 3-inch vent. And there you go. There's just some of the debris from the vent, some of those vertical pieces that flaked off the line. Now we're just coming vertically back up again. And here we are back out onto the rooftop. So we're going to go ahead and pause and move over to the side of the house and see how our camera gets through, showing the other beginning portion of the line for the back bathroom, which I believe again was an add-on at some point in the history of the home. Okay, so we're now over here on the right side of the house, right underneath the tankless water heater. We have a 3-inch ABS clean out. We're going to go ahead and just look at this part of the system just to see how far we can get out and if there's any difference. Now again, you can see this is all new plastic ABS that was installed for this additional bathroom that was added at some point in time. All ABS still. Here we have our little drop down turn right here. a little bit of debris on our lens from hitting the wall of the pipe. So we're going to pause for 1 second. Okay, we just had the agent flush the toilet in the house. You can see right there that kind of cleaned off the lens of our camera. So we'll now go ahead and push down this pipe here. That little bit of water is going to continue by the system right here, but at least cleans off our lens going through this new plastic pipe, as you can see right here, that was all installed in the system. So there we go. Water's just running out now down the system. Looks like our transition to some of the cast iron is right here at this point where it's tying into the system. So we got a little drop in the line and a turn. So you can see right here, see that water's kind of trickling over the edge because the line actually does start a little bit higher up, how it was created, and as it gets down to the ground level. So you can see that that goes in and across here. So we've got a couple different cameras. We started with this first one to see if we could push through, and so you can see as we back up, this is right at the transition to the cast iron to the ABS. We're not running any water, we're just trying to manually push this through, and this particular camera push rod's not making through this one turn right here. So you can see as we come back up right here, this is the edge of the end of the plastic almost. So we'll go ahead and pause 1 second. We'll put a different camera through there, see if it maneuvers through this piping a little bit better with a different version we have. Okay, so we've gone ahead and pushed our other camera in. We just started recording after we got it in, because what we did was we put our camera that we started with, that we came to the side here first, back up onto the rooftop, just so you get a point of reference. And so essentially, as we come back now on this camera that we got out into the cast iron, you can see we're a little past 38 feet where we started. As we come back here into this cast iron, there's our camera head from the roof vent that we came through to actually where we started the whole inspection process. And so that's the transition right there. Essentially was the back end of the line to start with, and they just added from that clean out that used to be there on the end of the line and added this ABS transition. So again, as you can see, there's the camera hanging down. That is the beginning from the original bathroom coming down from the roof vent where you originally went out. So everything is basically looked at now in the system. A little bit of debris right there in the line from coming down from the vent. That's all that is there. There's, again, nothing that we recommend being done on the system. It's all new ABS for the back bathroom, and the cast iron is completely functional and does not require any jetting. We don't recommend that, and does not need cleanouts put in at this time. So that concludes the recording for this property.